Good morrow, my friends. Welcome to Assigned Seating. That gentle, soothing music can only mean it is time to check into the cinema for Uncensored Radio's Cinema Club. Now, I'm usually here. Veer is usually next to me, but I have a special guest today because he has the power, and we need a little bit of extra power today when we're discussing this movie. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jeff Smith, digital creator, and may I say, probably super fan of the film we're going to talk about, at least the intellectual property.
Yeah, absolutely. Since 1985, I've been, I could say I've been a fan since about 3 years old. So
fantastic. Well, see, the thing is, as is with Uncensored Radio, it's generally random internet conversations lead to finding people with like minds. I was searching the universe, as is wont to do for the movie we're going to talk about, and I stumbled across another 1983 baby. I was like, oh, it's meant to be. This is going to happen. We're going to talk about it because today, my friends, we are going back in time, because before you save Eternia, you have to save Earth. And we are going to talk about 1987's cult classic now.
yes,
Masters of the Universe. Now, Jeff, what normally happens is on the show, we discuss the first time we saw this movie. So, do you remember the first time you were exposed to Dolph and his throbbing pectorals?
oh, I have to reach way back in my mind, but I do recall. I recall some of it. I remember I actually watched it in my living room on. We still had a TV that had, you had the two clickers. You had the UHF and then the one below it or whatever, where you pick what channel you were on. And Be Kind Rewind was right on the front of the movie that we rented out.
See, this is old man remembering good times corner now. Remember VHS, kids. Good times. I shared with you my story of this movie. So as I said, 1983 baby. So I guess prime time for Masters of the Universe and everything of that ilk. The time when good children's TV was around, the classic stuff that they keep bringing back for some reason. Who knew? But this is one of the only times in my life where I won a competition. It was a kids cartoon show that you wrote in for, and I won a competition to win tickets to go and see Masters of the Universe. Stoked, so happy, living my dream, little baby me. Until we got to the cinema and I saw Skeletor, and it was over. Inconsolable, apparently. I vaguely remember it, but we did stay for the whole movie because I won all of these tickets. I won 15 tickets, so I had to give them away. It's just yeah, no worries. But this movie very much is ingrained in me as probably one of my first memorable cinema experiences, and something kind of aimed at me. So if you haven't seen the 1987 version of Masters of the Universe, there's going to be spoilers, kids. I hate to be the one. She's a little bit old these days. She's a bit long in the tooth, but we'll discuss as we go along. So if you haven't seen it, click pause here. Join us on the other side once you've watched it. But from the get-go, this is not the Filmation He-Man at all, right? I mean, we've got space. It's kind. I rewatched it again the night before last, and it is like Star Wars meets Flash Gordon meets He-Man.
I could absolutely see that. That would actually probably fit that almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castle Grayskull looms large and quite like techno gothic weirdness, and we get a beautiful voiceover. And I just have to ask, why does every theme song from the mid to late 80s sound like Superman?
It's because that was hot, you know, that it just kind of led right into that. Everybody was trying to
You get it right once, right? And
yes,
it's just like,
yes.
I want that. I want my own Superman. I just didn't realize how on the note, even the titles, they are very reminiscent
when they come
of
out
Superman.
at the screen and how it,
and the names like swinging up.
Yes.
Like, I think this is why I have every time I hear the Superman theme, I kind of get caught between Superman, Indiana Jones, and this. Like, where am I at? What movie am I at, and what's going on? But definitely not the Masters of the Universe that I think people expected. And as we go through, we'll talk about maybe that being the issue with the reception that it received. But we are firmly on planet Eternia, where evil warlord Skeletor has seized control of Castle Grayskull and enslaved the sorceress, defender of its secrets. I mean, come on. As I talked about it already, Skeletor, even now, pretty impressive for a mask. And the man behind the mask, Frank Langella, I was like, oh, you are killing it, sir. Terrified me as a child, and still gravitas, giving us big Darth Vader energy.
I think about him, and I'm so glad not to go to the film that was just recently out, but the staff when he's coming through, and every time he's boom, just it
impact, right?
Oh yes,
like total impact. It does give that big Darth Vader energy, but even when like we kind of get a slight glimpse of him as he walks through, and the Imperial Guard, let's not pretend they're not, are standing. Where did all these guys in helmets come from? But that's okay. The music cut away as he turns around and reveals his face. It's like, okay. I love it. I'm a sucker for a reveal. I'm a horror kid. I love a reveal, and we kind of linger on that face to start with, and you're like, oh, nice, very very nice. The other scene stealer for here, and this is something that transferred for the movie that we're gonna discuss. Evelyn. Meg Foster, my God, I was infatuated and still am. As soon as you see her, you're just like, whoa. The casting was good. Like whoever picked these two, that's some good stuff, because they have gravitas. They grab you when I think these characters, as we will again discuss in the future, can lead highly towards the camp nature of the Filmation cartoon, but these are capital B bad guys.
You are bringing me right back. As we're talking about it, I'm just getting these flashes in my head. Oh my!
And I think there's Meg Foster's eyes do it for everyone. It's just that she's so pale and those eyes are piercing and she just looks commanding. And I feel like rewatching the movie, Evelyn doesn't do a lot, but she's there a lot, and she has that presence in the film where you're like, oh, I don't really know what you're capable of. And that troubles me. It troubles me. She's got that grr. So as we said, she is Skeletor's, I guess, second in command, and they have imprisoned the sorceress, draining her power, and he is going to assume the power of Grayskull by the next moonrise. I love we've got to have a time. We've got to have that time schedule. We've got to stay on schedule, and it must happen. This is where we now meet our versions of He-Man, Teela, and Man-at-Arms. And again, Flash Gordon comes to mind. I think it's Dolph Lundgren's luscious hair, but we've got to remember that this was like his first major role too, and to be thrown into like leading role, to be thrown into such an iconic character, that's got to be difficult. And he's not horrible. I think this movie got a bad rap for a long time, and watching it again, I haven't seen it in a few years. I'm like, you're not horrible. Like you're not giving like we've all seen some bad action movie acting. You're not giving that. You're kind of trying to give it as much as you give. But the definite shift between the sword and sorcery elements as opposed to a more sci-fi thing is quite noticeable here, I think, for the people that would have grown up with the cartoon.
I think it he was definitely trying to make his hero mark, you know. I think he came in from this awesome portrayal of somebody that just, you know, he was in Rocky 4, just the baddest of the bad guys, and then they have him doing the exact opposite, just this superhero role. I think he played it off well. I didn't know what to expect. I remember watching it, and I was pleasantly. I faked like I was him, you know, running around with my cape, my fake cape that I made out of a towel, and
I think we're all guilty of the dish towel cape, right? This is things we have done as children. Tick them off the list. I wonder though if, because obviously we've talked about the Star Wars of it all, and I guess the sci-fi elements. When you look at the Filmation cartoon, it's magic based, right? There's a strong emphasis on magic and sorcery and all of that kind of stuff, dragons and the amongst. Whereas She-Ra is for comparison. Hordak that's all technological. Skeletor's magical. It's like we've done a bit of a flip over and just married it with like Buck Rogers and all that kind of camp laser, and even a bit of G.I. Joe. Red and blue lasers are always going to make me think of G.I. Joe and people that can't land a shot. Very Star Wars, but our heroes are heroes, and of course we have Gwildor, the Thenarian locksmith, who is the cause of all this. I wonder why. Do you think it might have been, and I don't know, I could probably look into it more. Do you think, obviously Gwildor's our Orko counterpart in this?
Yes.
Maybe it was they couldn't get the floating right. We've got to remember it's 1987. How do you make something? It would have to be a CGI character or someone in a suit, but then how do you make that person float convincingly in 1987?
Or maybe they were very much going right to technology more than they were any kind of magic in that one, and so maybe it was kind of like the
trade-off, I guess.
What's that? Yeah, trying to be more realistic, you know, based more in like, you know, make somebody think like, oh, this could happen in
as real as you can be with a guy with a skull face coming after you. Yeah. Reality is a questionable thing. But Gwildor, we find, is also the cause of the problems. His invention, the cosmic key, which can open a portal anywhere in multiple universes by using musical notes, was stolen by Evelyn and allowed Skeletor to breach the confines of Castle Grayskull, thus trapping the sorceress and kicking everything in motion. I love Gwildor. I know he's one of those, you know how we have those characters, it's like, should we love Gwildor? But he's the comic relief as well. Let's not pretend he isn't. And he's very cute, very funny. If this is my Orko equivalent, we'll go with it. And I think he has well intentions. As he says, the Thenarians are a trusting race. I don't think there was malice in his little furry heart to make all this happen. So he's just kind of caught up from the beginning. But this whole backlot, sandy rocks, just kind of is Dune versus meets Star Wars with a bit more camp thrown in, which I guess when you're aiming for a sci-fi crowd is bread and butter, right? Bread and butter. We love a desert. We love lasers. But the I keep going to call them the Imperial Guard because that's who they are. They're random helmets. They are after Gwildor, obviously, and He-Man. He's very transfixed with He-Man. I feel like the voiceover maybe could have given us a little bit more of an idea of that rivalry. It's just Skeletor's like, no, I want He-Man. Okay, fair. We'll give you that conceit. They try to free the sorceress, but are overpowered and have to flee using the cosmic key. This is kind of like the premise of Sliders, right? We're just going to jump into a wormhole and hope for the best and see where it takes us. It takes us to Earth, strangely enough. A very 1980s Earth, though. Oh, so much 80s. But Courtney Cox.
Oh, my.
Courtney Cox, man. Like, quality from... And I've been a Courtney Cox fan since this movie. she's of course she's Gal Weathers, but she's many other things. And I think in a lesser actress's hands, this role could have been quite forgettable / damsel in distress, but I can understand why they kind of put the Earth story on her as well now.
With her, with everything that, her parents and everything like that. That's
I mean, a big premise of these movies is the fish out of water thing. They did it with Star Trek, like when coming to Earth is a big story point, or leaving Earth and going to another planet. But Julie is a character who is out of place even in her own time. She is an orphan now. She is graduating high school. She wants to leave her past behind. She is looking for some kind of something to take her out of a life that is ultimately ended, I guess, is the way to look at it. And she has her boyfriend, her dreamy musician boyfriend, Kevin.
What do you think of him?
Look, I don't mind. He is very of the ilk of 80s dudes, right? He looks like generic 80s male actor.
Michael.
I'm just like, but again, I don't think there's a bad actor in these movies. A lot of people in these movies, hold on, I do have feelings about 2026. One character in particular, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay. But this cast are fairly strong. They believe their conceits, I think. When you are into, especially what is predominantly a kid's product, and you have to make it appealing to a mass audience, you've got to kind of really believe what you're doing and believe the story. And I believe these kids. I believe that she worked at that fast food. I believe she worked at Robbie's Ribs. I believe that always makes me hungry, this movie.
Oh,
I want chicken and ribs, man.
I think about that bucket and them eating. I mean, he's just going to town on that bucket. Was it ribs and chicken?
It was both. It was both. Yeah. Well, okay. It was Robbie's chicken and ribs. What a strange combination, but
yeah. I always, every single time I watch it and I watch them eating those, I want that bucket and wanna taste whatever they're tasting. Yes.
I know, right? So as Julie is wrapping up her life in her small town, she visits her parents at the cemetery, and her and Kevin come across a strange device in a smoking crater, because what could go wrong when you find a strange device in a smoking crater in a cemetery? Nothing. Sounds like a good day out to me, right? I think the conceit of Kevin being a musician it becomes very important, but I wouldn't go and watch your sound check, dude. Are you going to come and watch my sound check? What, are you just playing a couple of notes on a keyboard? I guess the 80s was a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a teenager in the 80s, so I don't know. But there wasn't a lot to do, I guess.
There's no guessing about it, but it definitely was different, I think.
So whilst we are getting to know our Earth friends, Kevin's fiddling with the cosmic key transmits a signal all the way to Eternia, where Evelyn assembles a cadre of evil to hunt down the device and bring it back. So one cartoon, henchman, Beastman, but then we have Sorod, Blade, and Karg.
Yeah, Shredder. Shredder.
Yeah, right. How do we feel about these boys? And the alien lizard thing.
Oh yeah, the alien lizard thing. The what was the one that was kind of slimy, but he had the hair, but he was.
That's Karg. Karg
Okay.
has the guy with the hook.
Yes. Yeah. So he's
creepy.
Yeah,
he looks like something out of the dark. He looks Dark Crystal reminiscent, I think. He's like got that weird.
Yeah.
Dark Crystal freaks me out anyway. So like, he's very Jim Henson-ish kind of, because you've got Highlander, who is Blade, and then you've got Predator Light, which is Sorod, and then Beastman just being the big drooling scary. But these are, again, for something that is predominantly a children's property, these are scary ass characters, man. Yeah. Watching it and the way they're filmed, and even this attack on Julie and Kevin dips, because that's what boyfriends do. He dips to go to the music store to talk about what he thinks the cosmic key is, which is a Japanese synthesizer. Okay. Leaving Julie to face the foes alone. And this is like a horror movie chase scene. No wonder Courtney was so ready when it came time for Scream. She's running around, the blade swords are shooting through like the stage as she's crawling. She got a good scream on her even back then. Wes Craven must have just went, yes. One day you shall be the zeitgeist from which bitchy comments flow. It's the way to go. But she, for a human, she holds up pretty well. Anytime I see like anything happening in a gym, I get this weird vibe from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, and Carrie. I'm like, nothing good happens in a high school gym.
That's yeah. I guess
even in life, nothing good happens in a high school gym. Am I right? Am I right, folks? Dig up that trauma.
Can you make it to the top of the rope? No, that was chasing you.
No, yeah, I know. Well, hey, if you've got these guys chasing you, you might actually make it. Make it up. But He-Man and his buddies just happened to come across the signature as well, and arrive just in the nick of time to save young Julie. I can only imagine running into Dolph Lundgren as she does so many times. Must be running into like a brick wall. He is built in this movie. He is a built boy, and she slams into those pecs a few times. It's like, oh, damn, girl, how's your face? That's danger money. He looks very oily too, though, as he's wont to do, I guess, for a barbarian.
He has to be. It's shiny, oily. All the lasers deflect off of him, and yeah.
I know. He's like, ugh, ouch. I love it. Now you did share with me a little bit of a personal story about your your desire to mimic He-Man's look. Do you want to tell the people
Oh,
a little bit about that?
yeah. We're talking about the shininess and the. He was very tan, and as you see, I don't tan so well. I'm more of a burner.
Yep,
But
I see that. I feel that too.
The perfect tan look was it was that peanut butter look, and so I got a jar of Jif and I had proceeded to spread it all over my whole body. And my mom, of course, found the footprints leading into the bedroom with the shut door, and I was looking for it. I was trying to find it, but I do have a picture somewhere where I'm sitting there looking at the camera with a jar of peanut butter and just peanut butter smeared all over my whole body.
Oh, you got busted.
Oh yeah.
Well and truly.
She caught the picture and everything.
At least she thought to get the picture. So this is what we're talking about. We always, when we can, we do like to find a super fan of a property. So that earns you, I guess. And I guess you don't have a nut allergy because of it.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely. I never thought about that, but
it's soaked in. It's soaked in. So with their asses roundly handed to them, Superman. Oh my God, I keep looking at your shit going, Superman.
I can
Skeletor. He's like, whoosh, rip it off. There's a He-Man shirt underneath. There is I spoiled the top. Look, a crop top. Cropping
I was gonna wait for you to say something, and I was gonna, you
can have the power later. You can have the moment.
Yeah, I can't do it right now.
We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you later. But they return unsuccessful, and again, scary Skeletor just vaporizes people. He's just like, nah. Everyone's like, oh, okay, that's not a plan. And this is where, for the briefest moment, Evelyn's like cool kind of slips when he's like, well, if they're going to fuck up, you're going. And she's like, I didn't intend to go. She's just so cool, calm, and collected. Even when she's put on the spot, she's like, you can tell she must get home, take off that crown, and go, this asshole that I work for. Let me tell you. But there's that weird scene later on too where he's like holding her head in his lap and like stroking her head, and it's like, okay. I think the did you watch the Kevin Smith Netflix series?
Yes.
Hello. Yes. I feel like that relationship is where they were headed. That kind of.
I mean, they did have a thing. I think that they really.
She does have a specific type. Let's she likes a bony man. That's not my type, but more power to you, girlfriend. More power to you.
Yeah,
so
that's funny.
Kevin discovers the drama of what is going down at the high school when he returns to fight. I think he seems more bummed out about his equipment than Julie being missing. That's the thing he seems real cut up about. He's like, oh, that's right. My girlfriend is in this building after the janitor got slashed and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess high school girlfriends are disposable. This is where we meet Lubick. Again, random character to add, but I guess we have to have a complete non-believer for this to translate. Yeah.
Yes, I was trying to remember who that was.
Lubick.
Yes, the.
But again, he's great. He's very good at his job, and he is obviously very skeptical of what is going on here with a burning down gym, a missing girl, and a Japanese synthesizer at the core of it. It's a random story to happen. But they go to Julie's house searching for Julie, find no trace, and Lubick's like, this kid's done something. But Evelyn and her crew rock up after Lubick confiscates the key. This bit always kind of creeps me out as well when she puts the collar on him and he becomes totally like submissive to it, and he's got that dull and they vocode his voice and everything. It's like
and they gave him, and he's so relaxed too, and he's just so relaxed.
all the fight's gone. It's just like oh yeah. But anytime that Meg Foster's on the screen, I'm just like, everything you do is right. I'm Team Evelyn all the way in this movie. I'm like, yeah, everyone else deserves what they get. She's smart. She gets what I think she knows what she's doing, and maybe doesn't love the job, but she does the job when required. And they go hunting Lubick now. This is like a very big maze moment. This whole time we're on Earth, we're moving location to location to location to location, and kind of soaking in the 80s of it all as well, which is kind of delicious, as we said. The Eternians, that fish out of water moment, which we briefly spoke about before, is probably one of my favorite moments in this movie, when they come across Robbie's ribs and chicken. And Gwildor's gross, man. I'm assuming it's either gravy or barbecue sauce that he drinks and just spills all down his beard. It's just like, oh, dude, you're gross. What's wrong with you? But yeah, anytime that they're and Tila's like, why do they put this meat on these little sticks? Anytime I eat chicken, I think about it. That's how much of an impact this movie's had on me. If I have a drumstick, I'm Tila. I'm like, and she's just so mortified.
Oh, I want some right now.
I know, right? Tonight's job, ribs and chicken. But I also love Gwildor trying to communicate with the cow. Oh. That's some quality. You got to have a break in the tension every now and then, and that's what Gwildor is good for. But yeah, the fish out of water thing works. I feel like there maybe could have been a bit more of it. But I get the kind of budget this movie was made on, that we're not going to have grand sweeping crowd shots of anything. We set movies in small towns for reasons. It's like, we don't have the budget for a huge cast of extras. Get the same 5 people, 6 different hairdos, and let them move around. It's all good. We've got this covered. But I feel like it, well, from my knowledge and my experience, it gives small town Americana. They've done all right.
I don't know if you remember Monster Squad, but it had that kind of feel to it. The town did, how empty it felt, but still there were people in it. I
kind of like Gremlins as well. There's this cast of characters, but because, and this is I guess good movie making, when there is a snowstorm. Well, everyone can't be out in the snowstorm, can they? It's these characters that are here. Or yeah, I just, something about that small town setting is very comforting as well. And I think we've been trained to make nothing bad happens in a small town unless you're like Laurie Strode or Sidney Prescott or anyone in a horror movie ever that lives in their small town. But it still gives me a very good sense of time and place, just the way they've done everything. Even the music store, 99-cent records, you're like, come on, man, keyboards everywhere. Welcome to the 80s. It's just chef's kiss. So we go to the destruction, and well, utter destruction of the music store where Lubick encounters the, again, Imperial Guard and deals with lasers. I love that the defense against lasers is one shotgun. But
That's
it is what it is. I feel like there's a lot of even, and again, even for the time when Evelyn gets the key back, I mean, she fools. We have that creepy moment where she becomes Julie's dead mother, and then reveals herself, which is cool. And Courtney's scream comes out again. You're like, oh, there she is. Gale Weathers in the future. When the portals happen and all of that kind of stuff, it still looks okay. Even in this modern day, like Skeletor's ship coming through that portal doesn't look horrendous. We are going to get to the part where I was like, oh, He-Man on the hoverboard. I don't know how recently you've watched that.
Yeah, I could say that I've watched it within the past couple years, but with social media, sometimes you run across something. I think yesterday
you get a clip.
Yesterday I think I got a good clip of right at the end. But I mean, this thing is right in here, and as you're talking about it, it's clicking. I mean, I've seen the movie 100 times when I was a kid, maybe more. When it's what you've rented for the weekend, that thing goes in.
Back in the day.
Back when you watch it.
Yeah, 100, and I think that is, again, part of being of that generation, of that vintage, that we did not have things disposable at our fingertips to watch whenever we felt like it and pause and come back and go, oh, well, it'll just pick up where we left off. We would do that, but you had a limited time unless you were sinking those big dollars to buy a VHS back in the day, because they weren't cheap when they first came. Well, they weren't cheap, and you went and you rented that movie, and that movie got watched at very least twice, I reckon. At the very least,
yes.
At the very, especially when you're like, because me and my one of my older brothers, he used to come and stay at our house on weekends, and we would do it. It would be epic, like 80s go time. We would have G.I. Joe battles. We would have the He-Man battles. We would have all that kind of stuff, because I was my parents' only child, so I had everything.
Oh, you had all the toys.
My Castle Grayskull, my Snake Mountain, like everyone chilling, and we'd just take over the living room, and epic weekend battles that only got better once we got a pool as well. The G.I. Joes are now rusty. They went deep sixing, but I think that's part of something that you don't really see as well these days. You can't, when something has to break really, really big for it to bleed through culture, whereas when these cartoons were out, the cartoons were the way of marketing the product, and everyone's like, well, I want a He-Man doll, and everyone had, like, all of my friends had it, and it was something universal. I don't think it's those rare occasions now, and it's usually a Disney movie, where something sparks that big and everyone's, we come from a generation where there were people fighting physically for Cabbage Patch dolls. The last thing I remember being epically that big was Tickle Me Elmo.
That was a little while ago too.
That was a little while ago, but nothing's kind of really breached that, it's sold out, I must have it kind of thing. Where kid culture is very, very different now. And I think, especially, I talked about it at the top of the show, they go backwards a lot to dig through this stuff. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, Barbie, things that are of the 80s that had that mass appeal. They're like, well, we'll just dust it off and give it a new coat and see how it goes. I don't remember them having a Dolph Lundgren He-Man action figure though, because I had a Gwildor, I had a Sorod, I had a Blade action figure. So they were movie type. I don't remember how I had a classic He-Man. I had a actually I had the set. I had the one with the big gold on it and the swinging shield and all that kind of some battle armor dude. I didn't have the plastic.
The one that was kind of a little bit taller and he had like the
he was gold and shiny and metallic.
the big gold boots and stuff like that. Is that
he was my guy. He was my He-Man. He was like He-Man plus. But it's interesting that the things that they pick and choose, because He-Man kind of has the look of the cartoon He-Man, but also not. It's like a weird vibe crossover, but then they made these movie characters fit into the cartoon universe when they made the figures. I don't know. It's a weird conversation. We'll talk more about Karg too, because Karg pops up again, strangely. Of all the characters from this movie to pop up, I was like, maybe we'll get a Gwildor reference, but no. Anyway, back to the story. Nice little tangent there. Skeletor basically fucks everyone right up and traps He-Man, gets his shit, gets the cosmic key, and pieces out back to Eternia, leaving everyone stranded on Earth. And that moment where he like zaps Julie too always makes me go, ooh, painful leg wound. It's like, oh, Chihuahua. But this is the thing. I don't think hope is lost very long in this movie. Sometimes that's a really poignant moment in things where it's like, oh, something's happening. It's like, oh, we can just fix it.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin, right?
Yeah, get that synthesizer. Being a synthesizer king has worked out. They figure if they can get the right keytones, Gwildor can help fix the wiped cosmic key and get us back. This is where we are back on Eternia with the rapidly aging sorceress, poor woman. All she had to do was stand there the entire movie. Just stand in this tube and don't move and get older. That's what you've got to do. Act, but don't move. Kind of good if they gave her a seat, I guess. But she's a lot of standing around. This is where we get into the weird oiled up techno S&M moment with the laser whips and all. It's like, is there something more going on between Skeletor and He-Man? I was like, this is a bit shirtless, sweaty He-Man getting whipped and bound in front of people. I guess the main thing is Skeletor needs He-Man to fall, to buckle, to show that the Eternians have no hope without their hero. It's just a little bit S&M for me.
His bloody lip too. Do you remember the bloody lip?
Yeah, just the lip and a shoulder wound. He's like, Skeletor, remember me. It's like, oh boys, it's like a heated rivalry, but like the space version. It's like, calm down, boys. It's okay. You can have some. There's never alone time. Evelyn's always there, and just
I gotta say, I was disappointed he used a laser though. I never remember seeing He-Man with a gun at all.
Right.
He's flying and he's like, oh, and I
right, this is probably going to date me even further. Do you remember Photon?
Oh.
It was like a VR kind of thing where he went into the world. It was kind of like Captain N, and he like went into the world of Photon. It was like laser tag kind of thing. I hadn't remember those books on tape that we used to have. Turn the page.
Yes.
Those things. Yes, it was one of those, and I don't think it ever really broke that big here in Australia. But I found out there were like young adult novels and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, get out. It gives that vibe. Just the gun. I was like, it looks about that. Remember that really early Nintendo gun?
Yeah.
That's what they look like. It's like childhood. I love it. It makes me happy. But Gwildor repairs the key, and we conveniently are able to take that tiny small set piece and transplant it into the big set piece, which costs the money. It's like, That's good filmmaking. So we'll cut this car in half. We didn't even talk about the souped up car before
Oh
the
my
teenage
gosh.
before the Neutrinos and the Ninja Turtles did it. They had a souped up vehicle in this as well. It was pink too.
I forgot all
Yeah.
about that.
You have to go back and watch it again now and be like, yeah.
Oh
nostalgia. Nostalgia. But we get a shootout in Skeletor's new home base of Grayskull. Lubick is 100% a believer. Everyone, was made to think Lubick was going crazy. But the battle happens and they are able to free He-Man. And most importantly, free the sword so he can do the thing. You want to do the thing? I'm going to give you a close-up. You want to do the thing?
I have the power!
That's what we wanted.
How was that?
Sir.
Was that okay?
That was great. You didn't have a rippling Dolph Lundgren moment though.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe later. That's for the OnlyFans version later.
He reached for that sword this way, didn't he? And he's kind of getting shocked.
It was very well, yeah, because he like fell and the sword nearly went over, and it's like again, it was very Death Star-ish. It was yeah. They've got to stop making these giant like buildings on top of cavernous areas where heroes and villains can fall. I think that's a hole in people's logic. It's all very well and good until you fall into your death. But I don't know if the sword was made like the sword is the thing really in the cartoon. The sword is what accesses the power to Grayskull and gives him the strength and energy to become Grayskull's champion. The sword's kind of just there in this, and
it didn't change him at all. He was still beat up. And...
He was always He-Man. He was always He-Man. And the sword was a little bit confusing. Maybe there should have been a bit more made of the sword earlier on for it to matter that much at the end. It was kind of just more like it was the symbol of He-Man, and having it kind of was the last, the MacGuffin. It was the last key to get Skeletor what he wants, because Skeletor got pimped out.
Oh, with the gold
Skeletor rocking like Serpentor from G.I. Joe moment, but like on steroids. He's like horny gold Skeletor.
How are you gonna fight with your head weighing more than the rest of your body? It's
I do it every day. There is, but I think when you put somebody in this much prosthetics, there is a tendency to let the prosthetic do the acting for you. Frank is chewing the scenery. Any chance he gets, he's chewing away. He's like, yes. I liked it. The Havoc staff kind of looked like the Havoc staff. Just a little bit more technical. Again, not made much of that, but it's just... the thing that did make me really pause, and I think it's because we are so used to modern action movies, is just how slow the fight scenes are. I'm going to swing this at you now. It's like we are used to. I think all of that change come like The Matrix, right? And then all those Jet Li movies. Everything became real fast, and then real slow, and then real fast again. It's like nothing's gonna work unless you like. Then you go to something like Transformers or one of the Marvel movies. Like, what's actually happening? I had real processing issues with like the third Transformers movie. I was like, there's too much happening. I can't. I'm a child of the 80s. I'm fine. I can deal with like bright lights and flashing things, but I was like, there's too much happening in this. I can't focus
when it's
on
like
what's
punching,
actually going
but
on.
Changing and then shooting
and changing angles, swinging around. Yeah. Like you kind of miss some of the delicacies of like the hand-to-hand combat stuff when it's all CGI. There's got to be, I think, a happy medium. I think that they've kind of reached it now that Marvel is a fine art and they've got their product down and they can do it. But there were some dodgy moments back then, but this the speed of this battle was not the fastest. And Skeletor was like kind of stopped pretty easily. I guess we're running out of time. It's like he's got to go. He's got to take that long trip into the pit. Then his staff gets broken. He gets depimped and gives us a very, again, Star Wars moment, falling slowly as his cape billows. When it works, right? When it works, it works. You got to go there. You got to go with it. But the Eternians are victorious. The sorceress is released, and as always, in true Wizard of Oz fashion, going home's that easy. When the movie's got to wrap up, it's easy to go home. You know, we send Julie home
to the.
Well, this is the thing. Gwildor does say, "I can send you anywhere, anytime," and she goes, "Just send me home." And then she changes her mind as she's leaving, and they're sucked into the portal. But Julie wakes up in her bedroom, goes downstairs, and finds her parents alive. She's been taken back to the day that they died. And manages. I love that she just steals the keys and runs into the street in her nightgown. Things were a lot easier in the 80s, man. Like, you don't want your parents to go somewhere? I'm just taking your car keys. No Uber. ain't no taxi in like small town America, obviously. They can't get there. I'd be more angry. But she runs into Kevin too. And he remembers, and they have the little token, which I can't help but think that little token of Eternia that He-Man gives them was meant to be some kind of, this is how we get back there in the inevitable sequel, which was not inevitable. Because he, again, does his moment in the crystal. End of film, unless you stick around to the end credits.
Yes. That was the first
post credit scene.
Yes, that I remember. I don't know if did they ever have anything like that?
I don't know. That would be a good, if someone could tell us. That's a very good question. But Skeletor declaring he'll be back. It took him a hot minute. To get back, but that is where we finish our. I was going to say, it is a journey, though. It is an epic journey between Earth and Eternia, good, evil, all the goodnesses. And at the end of the day, I think that maybe, as we said at the beginning, the skewing of a more sci-fi interpretation might have been what threw people off, do you think? Because this was not like a hit movie. Even though it was the third highest grossing film of the weekend. Here we go. Behind Stakeout and The Living Daylights.
I have no idea what those movies are now that
I know Stakeout. I don't know what The Living Daylights is.
Yeah, I don't remember either of those.
There comes a time, like when we do these adaptions, it's got to be, for some people, 100% what they remember, or it's not good enough. I think the one that got it the most right that I can compare to is the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
When that came out. Yeah.
It kind of has that same feel. Like that gritty kind of like low budget kind of it has the same vibe, but I think the shift away from what people knew, and especially kids, when you hear about your favorite cartoon show is being made into a movie and you go and you get this, would you be disappointed?
I think it was maybe they were trying to appeal to a grown-up, to more somebody that wasn't into the He-Man cartoon. You got to figure teenagers. If you were a teenager by the time He-Man came out, it probably wasn't going to be your jam. And
unless you had like a younger sibling.
Yeah. But maybe that's what it was. They were trying to appeal to more people, and they kind of got away from that that little kid, the silliness of it. I guess maybe that's what I'm looking for, the silliness of it.
Yeah, and it took itself very seriously. This movie,
Very
there wasn't
seriously.
that
Yes.
there wasn't that lean towards it. Interesting. Even though it was considered a flop, there was intended to be a sequel. Dolph Lundgren refused to reappear, though. So, yeah, interesting. If you look into it, Canon Films had a bit of a run of flops, and it kind of really ended that studio. Mattel actually refused to pay for the royalty use as well for a sequel. So I can't imagine it would have been any good had it actually come out. But maybe we got lucky because it lingered in. There was threats of a He-Man movie for many moons, and now we're here. But we always do a rating system at the end of the reviews as well. So Jeff, out of 5 buckets of Robbie's ribs and chicken, how many buckets do you give Masters of the Universe 1987?
1987, for the time and what it was, and that it was really kind of something going into a new territory. I'm gonna give it 3 buckets. I'm gonna give it, I think, 3 buckets. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to, when we do these reviews, try and rewatch the movie within a 48-hour moment of coming on, because I want it to be fresh, and I hadn't seen this. I could have sat here and talked about it and gone, I wanted it to be fresh, and I put this movie on at 11 p.m. I was like, it's one of those movies where I've seen it enough. I could press pause. I could stop it. I could watch it the next day. I could watch it for the review. I didn't. I watched the whole thing. And I think that speaks enough of nostalgia, of entertainment value, of even fondness for that part of your life and that history, that it's still a good watch. Look, there's questionable stuff because it's a movie from a smaller budget movie from the 80s, but it is not abhorrent. I'm a horror kid. I've seen some horrible movies, I've seen some horrible movies. This is not a horrible movie. It's not the He-Man that you expect on the tin when you open it, but it's not a bad movie. There aren't bad performances in this either. The cast is all very capable and at some points amazing. As I said, Frank Langella, Meg Foster, they are standouts in this movie, and I had a good time rewatching it. Even after all this time, I got to the end and had a little smile on my face and went, yeah, that kicks. So I'm going to go 3.5 because
3.5, yeah.
3.5. I'm going to go 3.5. I'm edging more towards 4, but I think 3.5 sits well for me. I feel like the pacing is sometimes a little bit crazy, but it's also trying to adapt a massive story into an hour and a half. So we have to give it its conceit and go with it. But the wait is now over, because in cinemas now we have a very, very different Masters of the Universe, and there will be a sequel to this review. So if you haven't had your chance to see Masters of the Universe 2026, get it done, because the review is coming from Eternia to you very, very, very soon. Jeff, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to nerd out with someone about greasy peanut butter He-Man and his compatriots. So, especially someone who is going to rock a He-Man crop top. More about that later. More about that next review. We've got to have something to hook you through, right? We've got to have something to hook you through. This man's commitment to He-Man will surprise and thrill you. So if you want to know more about it, please tune in. But until next time, this has been Uncensored Radio's Assigned Seating. And the only way to kind of end this one is good journey, my friends.
Good journey.
We'll see